All right, we're going to machine a rotor today. And so the first thing that we do is we find a cup that is about the same size as the bolt pattern on the rotor, and that is, okay? So then one cup goes on the machine, which is already there, and then we put a spring in. We need a cone that, oh, you can't see the rotor anymore. Oops. That just fits in the rotor but doesn't go through, and that's what we got there. So we put the cup, then we put a spring, then we put a cone. When you get it lined up, it should just slide right on. And we put the rotor, and then we put the matching cup on the outside. Got to kind of wiggle and make sure everything's good and centered up. Then we use a spacer, and we use one of the two-piece spacers, and this cup, or this nut that goes on the end, has two ends. It has one end that goes on quite a ways because the threads are real recessed down in there if you're using something that's way down there, or you can turn it over and you see it just hits the outside of the threads. So depending on how far you want, you have basically two nuts. It is left-hand thread, so lefty tighty, righty loosey. Okay, bring it up snug, kind of spin everything, because if you spin the cup on here, it'll knock any burrs off that might take you off center. Make sure you rub both inside and outside. Bring it up snug, kind of give it a turn. I like to kind of seat it, wrong end of the wrench. I like to kind of seat it by spinning it and snug the, because it can hang up on the cup or on the cone a little bit. One little bump, it does not need to be super tight. Okay, now that that's mounted, we need a silencer band. That is not long enough, so it's as easy as hooking another spring in there. And you want a little stretch on the spring. You don't want it super tight, but you definitely don't want it loose. Okay? So once the spring's on there, now we can come down here. The closer and tighter everything is, the better off we're going to be, the less chance you have of vibration. So we're going to loosen this up, and we're going to bring this all the way back in, okay, till it stops, and then just give it a couple of turns, just because we don't want it all the way back. Now, we don't want this rotor moving back and forth, so we tighten this down. That locks against this rod and prevents us from moving the rotor back and forth. Okay. Now, we can loosen this up, and this whole thing moves around. It moves in and out, up and down, back. Well, it doesn't move up and down. Back and forth, twists. Straight is generally better. Okay. Get a little more light out here. See if I can get right in close here so you can see. Now, see how this bit is in far enough, but this one, I don't know if you can see it, is a little bit outboard of the rotor. We want them about even. We don't want them offset this way. Okay, so if you have to, we can adjust and we can move this over, because as we put this one out, it's going to move forward because of the angle of it. If we need even more, we can push this one back a little bit more and give it a little bit more until they're about even. And then snug up this bolt, this nut. It's the same wrench, it's the other end. And again, this is just snug. I guess you can't see my hand, but we don't reef this down, we don't over tighten it. Just snug is good enough. Okay. We're going to turn the machine on. Which is this here. It has drum feed or rotor feed. We're doing a rotor, so we're going to put it on rotor feed. Oh, we have to turn the main power on, sorry. Turn the power on. Tony will get it right one day. This is for actually running the feed. So this is tight. We're going to bring it in just off the outside ridge, and we're going to zero it. So this is more of a listen thing than a watch thing, but you turn it in until it touches and you'll hear it. Right there. Lock it down so it doesn't move. Bring the other side in until it touches. And lock it down. You hear that noise? That's bad noise. So we're going to put a dampener on it and hope that goes away. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to consider safety. And we are going to take this shield. Oh, you can't see. We're going to take this shield. It goes on the light and hangs down. And you can put it so that it blocks the chips. Because I'm up here. It blocks the chips from your face. Okay, now that we've got it zeroed, you can hold this silver piece and turn this inner piece until, come on, there it goes. You line up at 0. So now we have the 0 lined up. You don't have to zero it, and this one is zeroed on the metric side. I'm an inches guy, so I'm going to zero it there. Now, there's a lip on the outside edge of the rotor. We're going to bring this back manually. I don't know if you can see, I'm turning this knob here. And it's going to cut that lip off until it's quiet. And sometimes that falls off. Whoop, whoop. There's supposed to be a thing that goes in here, and I don't know where it went. Okay, so now we're going to run it inboard. Notice the rotor got a lot thicker as we went in. Ooh, don't do that. So we found our 0 point. Apparently it was at the thinnest point of the rotor. So we're just going to have to go in nice and slow and easy. So that we cut all this extra material. Okay, now you can hear that we stopped cutting, so that means we're in past the inner edge of the rotor. And as you can see, it cut most of the rotor, but this is the lowest point. That's why that's where we zeroed it, and that generally is the thinnest part of the rotor, is just inside from the outside lip. So now we are going to, let me move back here a little bit so you can see better. We're going to loosen this. We're going to run this in 4 thousandths, because I don't think we're going to need to do very much, and then we tighten this back down. We do the same thing on the other side. We're going to loosen the lock. Be careful, you are by moving parts. Move it in 4 thousandths or 2 marks. because each mark is 2/1000 of an inch. That cut 4/1000 in on each side, so not a whole lot. Okay, now we're going to go up here, and you can see drum feed, rotor feed. Well, we're feeding the rotor, which will move this table out. We go to rotor feed, and this is the speed of the rotor feed. The faster, the rougher cut you're going to get. So we want to keep it down at 2 or 3, especially for a finished cut. Okay, now you'll notice that it's not turning. It's not doing anything. So we have to take this wheel, because this is a weird machine, and tighten it. And then it stops turning, but now you hear it, it's cutting. And now we'll fast forward to where the rotor's done. All right, we finished our first cut, and as you can see, we missed a bit there. And we missed a little bit less on the outside, so we're going to take one more cut. Just like the first one, except for we don't have to zero anything. We turn off the feed. There it is. We turn off the feed. We unlock the handle. And then we spin it back in. Until we're in past the inner edge of the rotor. Okay. We loosen our locks. Give it another couple thousandths. Tighten the locks. Put our chip deflector / silencer back on. We turn the switch back on to rotor feed. We tighten down the nut. And away she goes. Okay, we can hear the cutting stop, so we can remove the chip deflector. You can see, kind of, let me get this safety screen out of the way and hit the light on it. And you can see we got all the remaining uncut part of the rotor. So now we take our wing ding here and we're going to put a non-directional finish on it. Now, you're not drilling for oil. You're not trying to remove material from this. You're just cleaning it up. As I go back and forth, you can see the lines going into it. So we'll turn off the feed and we'll turn off the machine. And we have a beautiful non-directional. You can see the little nicks here. So it's not cut like a record. For those of you that are way too young, a record is a thing we used to listen to music on before cassette tapes.